It is cold. How cold? Really cold. Let's see. It is 21 degrees Fahrenheit. That is cold. Okay. Gonna get started. Angle the camera down. Okay. I got the stuff off. Oh, hey East Coast Ken, welcome. I think it is just you and maybe a couple other people. And Pickle, Mr. Dill Pickle, welcome. Just gonna start trying to take off this pressure plate and clutch as well. I got the bell housing off yesterday, which was quite the challenge because you can kind of see it right here. The degreaser I bought was water-based and it just froze because it's so cold. So, yeah, it was quite the challenge to get the bell housing off. But I don't know if you can see my breath. Maybe it's pretty cold. So I guess we'll just get right on it. How are you guys doing today? What have you guys been up to on this fine day? Anything exciting? Curious to see how this clutch and stuff looks too. I want to see how much wears on it. Put some Christmas. Oh, you fixed the Christmas lights on the house. Nice. I haven't put any Christmas lights on the outside of the house. But we did get a tree. We put lights on the tree, and I 3D printed some ornaments for the tree, and it was a good time. And Pickle, you're just getting ready for Christmas? Sweet, sweet. Hey, Renegade. How is it going? Thanks for hopping in. We're just about to get this pressure plate off and see what this clutch looks like. So you've got a box. All right, here it comes. Oh, it is, pressure plate's definitely a bit rusty, but you know, it doesn't look too bad. The clutch still has an okay amount of material on it. I think it's still going to be usable. It says Borg and Beck flywheel. Oh, Borg and Beck, this is flywheel side, made in USA. Borg and Beck, I don't know that I've ever heard of that before. What does this pressure plate say? Auburn Industries, maybe? Is that what that says? I don't know if you guys can see that or read that. Cold. Yeah, definitely. I think enough meat to reuse it, that's the goal of this, is to reuse everything. Or at least as much as possible. And same with our flywheel here. It looks like it's in pretty decent condition. It's pretty grimy on the outside, but where the clutch was riding, it doesn't look like it's super scored or anything, just a little bit rusty. So that's good. We can get this flywheel off, maybe. Yeah, we'll get the flywheel off, and then I can finally get it on the engine stand. Those look like they're probably 5/8. Oh, nope. 11/16. Oops. I'm going to try and get these off without rotating the engine. There we go. Oops. We might need to use something else for that one. Oops. These are coming off pretty easy, just a little bit of persuasion to knock them loose. Not bad. Got a thing for this too. Let me show you guys. I 3D printed some of these organizer boxes, and I modified them to have the label on them so I can keep track of all the nuts and bolts. Make sure they go in the right spot. So I know Renegade, I was talking to you on your live stream about 3D printers. This is something that they're really good for, is making little organizers and stuff. And I think this is going to help me organize things a lot better. And I made some bigger ones too for some other parts. They all kind of stack together. Yes. Everything is a hammer if you try hard enough, just like every pizza is a personal pizza if you try hard enough. Those are words I like to live by. Oops. So I like to use a speed wrench and just normal wrenches and socket wrenches and stuff like that. But I know a lot of people like to use power tools as well. I know, Renegade, you just got a battery powered ratchet, didn't you? I want to know what's your guys' preference and why. I personally like using the hand tools just because I'm not in a big hurry most of the time, and I don't know. I think I don't really have a reason. I've just always done it this way, I guess. Oh, hammer time. Oh. Let's see. I think it's not really budging. Maybe I need more leverage than this. Okay, I can turn the engine over okay. That's not super helpful. Oh yeah, thank you. I think the bins are cool too. And yeah, hand tools are cool. At least I think so. Oh wow. Well, I guess not everything's a hammer. Oops. Glue that back later. You know, I do actually have like a hammer I probably should be using. Or I could go back to using that wooden brush. I don't know where it went. That is one thing, is you usually shouldn't use a metal hammer on this sort of thing. But... Ow. I think that moved a little bit. getting anywhere? Maybe. Oh yeah, we're moving. A little bit at a time. Oh. I wonder if it's just so cold that whatever grease is on here is kind of super solidified. Here we go. So that was the problem I was having with the bell housing. Oh, there we go. Flywheel. Also, the ring gear on the flywheel looks good too. No chipping or anything. That's a good sign. Yeah, okay. You guys got a preferred brand or style of hand tools? I know some people will get, real particular about certain things. There's got to be a better way to do that. These. Okay. Whatever's cheapest. Yeah. Sometimes you got to be careful with really cheap because the cheap doesn't always necessarily mean poor quality, but it definitely can. Okay. Bigger. I really like the Plum tools. They don't make them anymore, but they eventually turned into Proto, which also is pretty good. But brand new Proto tools they can be pricey. So I like to buy my tools used. It's kind of fun that way as well. But as far as new tools, I do have some there's some Pittsburgh, which, you know, people kind of knock on Harbor Freight in Pittsburgh as being cheap, but I've never had a problem with their hand tools anyway, as far as like their wrenches and their sockets and stuff. There are definitely other things that I won't buy at Harbor Freight because I've bought them before and they didn't work out. Like, never ever buy locking pliers from Harbor Freight. I learned that the hard way. The jaws just snap off. Pittsburgh locking pliers are just garbage, at least in my experience. I just realized something. Hopefully it's not going to be too big of an issue. There's only really 2 screw holes that I can mount this to. The rest are through holes. And that might be why I've seen people work on these engines with the bell housing still attached to them. Maybe that's what I ought to do then. But I feel like that would get in the way of certain things. Maybe I can fit a bolt all the way through this and put a nut on it. Now we have to get some different ones if that's the case. Well, I think maybe for now, put the bell housing back on. It's an adventure to get off, but seems like it might be our only way to get this on the stand properly. Interesting. Mastercraft or Craftsman. I also have a lot of Craftsman tools that I'm pretty fond of. Tecton for sockets and ratchets. Where do you get those, Ken? I'm not sure I've actually heard of those, or maybe, I don't know, it sounds kind of familiar, but I've definitely never used them. Okay. Let's see. Probably ought to put 2 more bolts in it. And then I guess we'll just put the engine stand right here where the transmission bolts on. We'll call that good. Another question for y'all is, do you wear gloves when you're working on stuff like this, or do you just use your bare hands? Normally I use my bare hands, but my wife requested I wear gloves because she doesn't like that my hands get stained and look dirty all the time. So I obliged her, bought a box of gloves, and I will say it's pretty easy cleanup afterwards, but yeah. Okay. Now let's get this here. Maybe I'm only going to be able to get 2 on the bell housing as well because of how this is shaped. That's irritating. Well, bare hands, yeah. Yeah. See, Ken, I think my wife maybe wouldn't care, except that we have a very, very small child. And I think her fear is that I'm going to be feeding the child or something and accidentally get some like old greasy fingers in her mouth or something by accident. All right. Looks like I can only get 2 of the holders on the engine stand on the bell housing as well because of how this thing is shaped. So I'm going to look through my nuts and bolts real quick and see if I have some longer bolts that I can stick through there, but might just have to go with 2. But I think better would be some long bolts with some nuts. This is where I wish I was more organized. Wrong size. Haha! I found one. Okay, you know what? 3 is better than 2. Well, sorry, folks. I wish I was a little more prepared. Now I've got to take this thing back off. But I think it'll be better that it's off anyway. It'll be easier to work on. And then I think either later today or tomorrow maybe I will go to the hardware store and buy one more bolt so that we do have all four. Oops. Oh, you gotta go. I'll see you later, Dill Pickle. Enjoy installing your shelf. Yeah, that bot. Ignore that bot because the girls aren't free and they're most likely not in your city. Just saying. But yeah, I need to assign some moderators. I forgot to do that last time. Juan told me how to do it, and I forgot to do it. So I need to do that. Give me just a second. I'll get this off, and then maybe I'll see if I can add a couple of you guys as moderators. Who volunteers as tribute to be mods? I'd trust any one of you guys to do it. I guess this is the other good thing about gloves. Now I can take them off and touch the computer. Well, welcome, Ken. I appreciate you coming. I'm gonna plan on going live. Welcome. Yeah, I'm gonna plan on going live about once a week right now, just while I'm doing this engine build. After I'm done with the engine build, I don't know how often I'll go live, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, manage moderators. All right, I'm gonna add Renegade as a mod, Ken as a mod, Dill Pickle as a mod, and Juan, even though he's not here, as a mod, because he's the one that was telling me about it before. Okay. So that should be good. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like to go on Mater's live streams and Renegade's live streams. I like listening to those guys chat. A lot of good knowledge, and they're just fun to listen to. So that is, I know I found your channel somewhat recently, and I think it was through one of those live streams as well. Saw you in the chat there, and then went and saw. I know you had some videos there about like Black Friday tool deals, and saw some videos about your Honda Del Sol as well. Also, I added you on Instagram, and I saw that meme that you posted about, Ford users with the hood latch. I will say it made me chuckle a little bit. And I will also say that Ford guys are the best lovers. That's, I'm obviously a Ford guy, so just saying. Even though I'm working on a Mopar engine, I guess, Chrysler engine. Pretty much all my other vehicles are Fords. Well, this doesn't even count as a vehicle, I guess, because it's just an engine. I guess since you're new in here, Ken, this is a little bit of background. Is I bought this house earlier this year, and there was this Flathead 6 engine mated to a 3-speed manual transmission, just sitting in the garage. And I'm assuming that it was just sitting on the floor. It's an elderly woman that passed away, and I'm assuming that this was her late husband's, and he found out it's been sitting here most likely since the 80s. And I'm assuming that the children didn't throw it away because it was too heavy to try and get out of the garage and throw away. So I got this engine and transmission for free. And I thought, hey, you know what? Why not tear this thing apart, do a rebuild on it, just kind of a hillbilly overhaul, make sure everything's clean and good to go. And so far, I'm getting pretty lucky. Nothing seems to be like crazy destroyed. So that is good. And yeah, so far so good with that. Yeah, I'm going to try and get this running, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And I'm going to try and get it running without spending any money on it, except for consumables, of course. Like, of course I'm going to put new oil in it and a new filter in it, but I'm going to reuse as much as I can. And get this thing going. And then who knows what I'll do with it after that. Yeah, I kind of want to show too that you don't need any like super special equipment or a ton of money to have fun building an engine. And of course, this isn't going to be any sort of a horsepower monster, but if I am successful, it will be a solid running engine. Okay. Get a little bit better angle here so we can get this on the stand. This will make it a whole lot easier to tear apart. And of course, you can do this without an engine stand. But holy cow, it makes it a whole lot easier. I'm not sure if this is going to go high enough. It should. Oh yeah, we'll be good. That's not going to happen. Still not quite. You go up just a touch more. There we go. Had to go just about the entire height of the winch, but it's on. There we go. And I'm missing a few pieces for this engine stand because I've had it for years, but we use an old carriage bolt as the little locker. Use a piece of rebar as a handle. Boom. Okay, now we gotta figure out how to safely lower this winch. Like this. go. Okay. That is another tool that, I guess you guys can't really see. Take you off here real quick. It's another tool that is really, really handy that you can do without is an actual engine lift. Of course, I'm doing without it. I'm using a winch on this like homemade gantry brace thing. Not ideal and honestly a little bit sketchy, but you can do without an engine lift. Although I really need to get one. Oh, Pickle, you're still in here? I thought you had to go. You wouldn't own them until you had your other 7 or 8 dream cars in the garage? That's fair. That's fair. And I'm not knocking like other vehicles either, man. I've owned plenty of Chevys. Those have been really great. Oh, I just realized I put my engine stand on a wrench. There we go. I've owned plenty of Chevys, and they've been great too. I had a Chevy Nova that was kind of a sleeper. It was a 4-door Nova, but it had a pretty hopped up 350 in it, and it might be the fastest car I've ever owned, actually. And I've owned second fastest car. First fastest is my BMW that I currently own. And my F-150 I have is pretty fast too. But anyway, I never owned a Dodge, but growing up we always had Dodges and they seem to be fine too. But I am particular to Ford. What are your 7 or 8 dream cars, or maybe just list top couple? Pickles is a 50 to 56 Ford truck. Those are cool. Those are cool. And Renegade has always been a Mopar man, and then Ford. Okay. So Renegade, do you know anything about these? This is a 218. I found out it's a 218. They call it an L head because it's got the intake and exhaust valves on the same side. Then there's also T head where they're on opposite sides. But do you know anything about these guys? It's pretty old stuff. Yeah. That, well said, Ken. That is. Cheers to you, sir. I think the biggest thing is you don't need a big fancy shop. You don't need super expensive, snap-on tools that cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. If you want to do this kind of stuff, of course, if you're doing it professionally and you are using your tools all day long, every single day, paying the extra money is probably worth it. But if you're just a hobbyist working, I mean, I built my first engine in a shed with a gravel floor. And let me tell you what, that was hard. And it makes you really appreciate when you have concrete and an actual a decent sized workspace. But you can definitely use cheapo tools and get creative. Of course, you have to be careful not to get so creative that you end up losing your fingers, because that can happen too. I almost chopped a finger off once putting an engine in a truck. The whole engine and lift fell over sideways because, again, I was doing it in a field where ground wasn't really stable. That's also, yeah, it was quite the story. Anyway, almost lost this finger because I reactively grabbed the leg of the engine lift and pushed down on it, and, well, tried to, but of course I wasn't that strong. And so my hand got stuck in between the leg of the lift and the bumper of the truck, and I pulled it out. And my buddy that was with me, he was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And at first I didn't feel anything. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I looked down at my hand and I could see the bone, and it was just completely tore open and all the muscle and stuff was squished to the side. And I looked back up and it was like, nope, we need to go to the hospital. So I grabbed a shop towel, wrapped my finger, and I wasn't wearing gloves, and got to the hospital. And the doctor was not very happy that I wasn't wearing gloves because there was all sorts of dirt and grime in my mangled finger that he had to clean out. And thankfully, he said I was very lucky because I didn't actually break my finger and I didn't sever any tendons. So, but I learned my lesson that when something is falling over, you just step back and you let it fall. And to try to have a stable base when you're actually doing stuff like putting an engine in a vehicle. I was like 18 or 19 though. It was a while ago. Yeah, and I couldn't feel the tip of my finger for a few weeks, but that did actually come back. I'm very lucky. I have a huge scar along this finger, but I have full function of it and I can feel everything. So I'm very grateful that it wasn't worse than it was, because it definitely could have been. And that's still on there. Okay. Now that I can roll this around easy, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the pan back under here and start draining the oil. And while it's draining, since it's probably going to take forever since it's so cold and the oil, yeah, I'm going to start taking some of this other stuff off. I think that will be a good idea. Where's the drain on this? Oh, the drain's all the way back here. Well, this is going to make a mess. But that's okay, because working on these things are messy. So the drain for this thing is like right here. And so as soon as I get this off, it's going to spill all over this. I'm going to try and catch as much as I can. R32 Skyline GTR, sick car. 70 Nova, also super cool. 2JZ MK4 Supra. There was, okay, at the last place I lived, just down the street, there's a guy with like a first gen Supra, and I don't know much about them, so forgive me. But it was a first gen Supra just sitting there in his yard. And I was like, man, I should go ask him how much he would sell that for. And then like it sat there for the whole time I lived there. I lived there for almost a decade. And like within the last year that I lived there, he had sold it and it went somewhere else. And now I'm kicking myself like, man, that would have been a cool car. 69 Camaro. 69 Camaro is cool. FD RX7. What's the FD RX7? What's the FD? And would that be the rotary deal, or would it be a rotary engine? Yeah, Renegade. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a bunch of expensive tools and stuff. I mean, that's what you did for forever, though, isn't it? That's what you did for a living. So, having them left over, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And again, I don't think that there's anything wrong with a guy, even a hobbyist, going and buying the super fancy tools either. It's just I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, I would totally do that stuff. I'd totally build cars or build engines if I had a 40 by 50 shop and a toolbox full of Snap-on tools and all this stuff." And my whole deal is like, man, those are just excuses. You can do this with pawn shop tools that you got for $1, and you could do it in a shed. Like I said, I built my first engine in a shed, and it still works. It's still running. So it works. You can do it. And my garage isn't super big. It's definitely the biggest garage I've ever had, but you can do stuff like this without a bunch of stuff. But if you can afford a giant place and fancy tools, by all means, you should. If you want to. Now the head on this bolt is massive. For the drain plug. Also, okay. I got a question for you again. So this is an adjustable wrench. Where I come from, I grew up calling this a crescent wrench. And I understand Crescent is a brand, and this is a Blue Point. This isn't a Crescent brand. But I got a lot of crap for calling this a crescent wrench. Am I crazy? Does everybody call this an adjustable wrench and I was just taught wrong? Or do other people call this a crescent wrench as well? I don't even think Crescent brand invented this style of wrench either. I don't know where that came from, but that's what I grew up calling it. So we got the locker on there, the locking bolt. A little more persuasion. Actually, let's see. Let me get a proper wrench for this. It's big though. It's got to be like an inch or an inch and an eighth. An inch and a 16th, maybe? Nope, it's got to be an inch and an eighth. Man, that is big. Inch and an eighth for the drain plug. So this oil is coming out darker than it was on the dipstick when I pulled it, but I guess that would make sense. If this is like old conventional oil, then pretty sure that older conventional oil kind of gets all the grime and crap that builds up in the engine and then just kind of makes it settle in the oil pan. Whereas like newer oils suspended in solution, something like that. I'm no chemist, but I wonder if that's why this is like this. It doesn't look awful though. And the stuff that's coming out now looks pretty clean. S14 Sylvia, 180SX, Toyota AE86. Oh man, I would love a Toyota AE86. Honda Prelude 5th Gen, Chevy Love LS swapped. Okay, but what originally came in those Chevy Loves? Loves, just like a little four banger. Like, what's wrong with that, man? You know, a little putt around town truck. Then you'd be open to a Dodge or a Ford, either a Dart or a Fox body. I used to have a Fox body. I had a Fox body convertible, and it was an '89, and it was back when they were just old, unwanted, ugly Mustangs. And I think I traded it. I got a Chinese dual sport motorcycle that was a piece of junk and $600, I think. And now I wish I would have held on to it because I probably could have got like $5 or $6 grand for it now. And it was a fun car. Oh, the last year they made the rotary. Those rotary engines rip, but I hear that they have maintenance issues because of how they're designed. But I don't know much about them. Oh, you also called a crescent wrench pickle. Interesting. Renegade also calls it a crescent wrench. And Ken. Okay. All right, Ken. Hey, have a good time in the grocery store. Thank you for stopping in. I'm definitely going to be going live again next Sunday. And yeah, I really appreciate you stopping in. It's been cool. Get some good groceries. Yeah, okay. So I'm glad that everybody in the chat also calls it a crescent wrench. So somebody was giving me crap because I made a video about tools, and somebody's giving me crap in the comments about calling it a crescent wrench instead of an adjustable wrench. But whatever. I'm going to keep calling it what I called it. All right. Let's see. What should I do now? I'm going to get this belt off and get this generator off. And yes, this is a generator, not an alternator. I know, Renegade, you might know what that is, but Dill Pickle, do you know the difference between an alternator and a generator? Also, here's that drain plug. That's big. You can see there's an old crush washer on it too that's been, let's see if I can get this to focus. There's an old crush washer on there that has been crushed many, many times and never replaced. That's also happened. Now, when your wife asks you why you need two of the same size wrench, you can tell her because sometimes you need two at the same time, you know. Although I guess these are a little bit different, but back here. This thing doesn't want to move far enough over because there's a lot of debris in the way, like that. It's a frozen piece of oil and dirt and whatever. There we go. There we go. That belt has definitely been sitting in the same position for a very long time, as you can see. And it is a little cracked. And it's a little bit split right there. But I'm going to hold on to it because I think it will still work. Although I did find this brand new belt in the garage. I wonder if it's the same size. I think it might be the same size. So I have a new belt for the engine. Woo, that's awesome. I am going to keep the old one just in case, though. That's awesome. Okay. I did find a couple new parts for this, like I said. Well, not parts, but belts, or that belt. And then I found a whole gasket kit for this engine. Ooh. Wait, hold on. Channel locks. Channel lock is a brand? That's not a style? I mean, I always called them channel locks too. I mean, I guess these are kind of channel locky. They don't have the channels, really. Channel locks be more like, got some somewhere. Maybe not handy. But yeah. Huh. Channel lock is a brand? I don't think I knew that. And yeah, vice grips, I call those vice grips, even though the ones I have are Milwaukee brand. Yep, Renegade got it. I figured he'd know what it would be. With the AC and the DC. And so, Pickle, you are somewhat right. A generator is like an electric motor spun backwards. There's no stator or anything in them. And I think I confirmed this is a 6-volt system. I don't know. Okay. Looks like we've got one small bolt holding on the distributor. It is very crustified. It's the wrong size. I don't know if I printed a distributor box yet. Oil pan, connecting rods. Nope. It's okay. Oh, that came out really easy. Oh, hey, and that's really interesting. So normally the distributors I've worked with before, they've got a gear on them that run off the camshaft. This one has this little sideways deal that probably goes into the oil pump if I were to guess, and I bet you the oil pump, because it's directly on the opposite side of the engine, where the camshaft is, I bet you the oil pump has a gear. Interesting. So instead of the cam running the distributor and the distributor running the oil pump, it's actually the cam running the oil pump running the distributor. Cool. That cavity looks clean, which is good. Also, what's the temperature where you guys are right now? Right now, it's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is, that would be -8 C, -9 C, somewhere right in there, I think. I know, Pickle, it's probably just as cold, if not colder, where you're at. And Renegade, I would assume that it's quite a bit warmer where you are. Ooh, that was close. Mopars don't have a gear on the distributor. Interesting. Like none of them? Not even newer than this? 62. Dang. That sounds nice. That is balmy. Man, well, just goes to show you this is my first Mopar I've ever worked on, so. This oil fill tube is kind of in the way. I wonder if I can get this off. Maybe not. I bet you it's glued on there with some grease and dirt that's frozen. Yeah, I'll continue to work around it now. So Renegade, I gotta know, how long were you were like a master mechanic or something at one point, weren't you? Or what exactly did you do to have all the fancy tools and such? Here we go. Generator. Oh, now we can take this this engine mount. This is an interesting design. It sits right here, pushes on a bracket that's bolted. I mean, it looks like it used to be attached to a bracket that's bolted right under the water pump. And then I'm assuming that these bolted down onto the frame of the car in the front. It's kind of an interesting design. You don't really see stuff like that anymore. It's always on the side of the engine. Yeah, that was hanging on there by the belt. I forgot about that. Ah, sweet, sweet. 35 years. That's pretty cool, man. And you said that the V8s have the gear on the distributor? The Ford engines and Chevy engines I've worked on, they've all got the gear on the distributor, regardless, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, whatever. And then it goes down like what you're saying. And then there's a shaft that goes to the oil pump. And the oil pump is in the sump. On this thing, the oil pump, I'll flip this engine around in a bit, I guess. The oil pump's on the opposite side of the engine. Actually, that'll be the next thing I take off. Oil pump's on sticking out the side of the engine, which I thought was interesting. I'm assuming that there's still a pickup tube down in the sump because otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. But I kind of like that, having the oil pump on the outside of the engine, easier to service that way. That you don't really think about people servicing their own stuff anymore, I don't think, because things are so hard to get to nowadays. You can still do it, it's just difficult. Like that, my F-150 has the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, so it's like a newer, a modern turbocharged engine. I still do all my own work on it, but it definitely is a lot harder to get to certain things than all these older engines. They were just simpler, and I think they had the service, people servicing their own stuff in mind. You need to clean the floor. There we go. And spilling oil everywhere, which is my MO. So. No gear on the distributor. Oh. Sorry, misunderstood. This here is the oil pump. And knock this loose now. So I'm missing a bolt. Is there one on the bottom? Nope, just the two. There we go. Aha, and there is the gear. Ooh. Well, this is really sludgy. I hope that's not bad. Hope that's not a bad thing. Yeah, definitely going to. Ooh, we're spilling oil everywhere. Well, at least there's oil in it. Oh, and it still works. Oops. All right, I'm going to put this down before I make more of a mess. We'll be rebuilding that pump at some point. It'll be fun. Yes, lots and lots of schmoo everywhere. Get the fuel pump off of here. Some of these really old engines had glass bowls with filters on their fuel pumps. I had a 59 Rambler that had one like that. It was really cool. Unfortunately, it was toast and I couldn't find a replacement. I couldn't find a rebuild kit for it because I guess it was a little bit obscure or something. So I just went with an electric pump on that car, but the pump was really cool. I wanted to get it working, but did not have the means to do so. Where? Here. can't move this one with my hand. But it might still work. We will see. Cool. Oil pump and fuel pump out. And I still have been unable to get this exhaust manifold out. So I think, oh, I just moved it further. Maybe it's finally ready to come out. Oh, there we go. Just needed a little bit of time to think about its life. Oh. Sweet. Oh, that makes me happy. Oh, and I'm spilling oil all over the floor. I'm gonna have to go get some of the kitty litter now. This will work. Maybe I can get. All right, now let's see what's behind these rocker covers. We'll move you in a little bit closer. Yeah, that's a lot better view, huh? All right. Any predictions on what's behind these valve covers? You think lots of sludge? You think it's going to be super clean? Or do you think lots of rust? Enter your guesses now. Geez, there's so much sludge I can't even. All right, Pickle says sludge. Lack of oil changes. Possibly. Now, older oil does work differently than the newer stuff that we're used to. So depending on how old the oil is in here, you know, being super sludgy is actually normal, even with regular oil changes. And that can be one of the problems too. If you've got a really old engine like this that was using really old oil for a long time, and you don't clean out the engine and you just put brand new modern oil in it, you can actually mess stuff up because I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, that the older oil was designed more to collect the metal shavings and the dirt and the broken down oil and stuff and collect it down in the oil pan so that all the sludge and all the gross stuff would come out at the bottom with your oil changes. And now that would also cause a bunch of sludge to build up in the bottom of your sump and also on any flat surfaces, like in here, there's kind of a little valley thing. There could be sludge built up there as well. Whereas I think more modern oil kind of suspends all the dirt and grime in solution. And so that way it all kind of comes out when you do an oil change, I think. And that's why you don't normally see sludge in a modern engine unless it's been neglected. I think it's pretty common to see it in older engines, even with regular maintenance. I could be wrong. We shall see what this one looks like. Moment of truth. Maybe. I can get this thing off. Oh, I gotta take this breather off first. Oh, there's actually a piece missing on this, it looks like. I think this is just a case breather, and it feels like there's a hole on the bottom where maybe a vent pipe went at one point. Oh man, and that is gross. So that is supposed to be a filter, like a metal mesh filter. And that actually probably had a pipe coming down that would have kind of come down here. But man, that is clogged up. Let's clean that. This rocker cover. Come off. Oh wow, actually it's really not bad. We definitely have some sludge buildup, just a touch, just kind of a film. It's really not too bad. See if I can get you closer. The light's not super great, but there's like a little kind of sludge film. And so that's really not bad. It is really sludgy though. Oh, wait a sec. Maybe there's more in there than I thought. All right. This other one off too. I've misplaced my pliers. Oh, they're right on top. Oops. Yeah, we see the same on this one. Same. I don't know how I'm going to be able to degrease all of this with the cold weather. I'm going to have to get the heat working in the shop first. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's looking pretty good so far. I think pretty promising. Hey, Shopcat, welcome to this live stream. Ah, Dutch meatball soup on the stove sounds delicious. Enjoy it. And if you guys haven't already, do you mind kicking that bot talking about all them adult sites. You don't need that. This is family friendly. Okay. I think. Move on to this front stuff. Maybe see what the see if we can get this water pump off and maybe get the timing cover off. See what that looks like. Okay. I feel better. I'm big time now that I've got a sex bot in the chat. Still, they can get lost. The yeah, and that sludge. Hopefully, it did protect from corrosion. That'd be a good thing. Oh, actually, I'm running close on time. It's going to be supper time for me here pretty quick. So maybe I'll just call it here. We can sit and chat for a little bit for the last 10 minutes, but I think maybe this is it for working on the engine. I can start cleaning stuff up if you guys are down with that anyway. Oh, Renegade, thank you for getting the bot. I appreciate it. Ah, clean. I did get oil all over the floor though, and that is not my favorite thing. But it happens, you know? Just get some kitty litter, soak it up, sweep it away, and then I'll have a stain in the concrete reminding me of this wonderful day. It really has been a wonderful day. This is the other thing I like to do. I like to wipe down all my tools after I'm done working because it can be annoying when you need a tool to do something that isn't greasy and all your tools are really, really greasy. I don't mind the tools getting greasy themselves because I figure, you know, it probably helps protect them. But they don't need to be so overly greasy that it gets your hands greasy just by touching the tools. And then if you clean them, you can see the markings to know what size they are and to see if they're damaged. That was something I learned quite a while ago is, you know, right, off-road motorcycles. I've got the dual sport. And somebody told me once, they're like, oh, you need to wash your motorcycle after every ride. And I was like, why? It's an off-road motorcycle. It's meant to get dirty. It looks cool when it gets dirty. Why do I need to wash it? They're like, well, if you're beating up on it in the mountains, you need to wash it just in case something broke and you didn't notice, so that you can see if something broke. That made a lot of sense to me. And so now I at least rinse off my motorcycle every time I get back from ripping it off-road. Oh man, sawdust works well too, and I can understand with your shop cats. Didn't think about that. I don't have any shop cats, so I should be safe. What I need to do is I need to get my wood stove in so that I can have heat in here so I can actually degrease this engine and not have to struggle so much. But this is life right now. All right, that'll do it. Okay, wiped off pretty much all the tools. Oh yeah, wood stoves are super nice. Mine is acting like a table right now. I still need to get some of the stovepipe. But I got the double wall piece, which is the important piece, so I can go through the wall without burning stuff down. Here, let me show you. Excuse the mess, but that's my wood stove. Like I said, just kind of using it as a table at the moment. Tripod got a little greasy too. But I'm hoping before it starts warming up again and it becomes useless that I can actually get it ripping and roaring and actually have a fire in here and be a little bit comfortable as I'm working on stuff, and again, make things easier to degrease. Because yeah, that sprayed degreaser on the side of the engine here last week, and it froze because it was water-based degreaser, and then I left the can out here and I went to spray more the next day, and I come out here and the can wouldn't spray, and then realized that the can's frozen. So I took the can inside, and then it warmed up, and then the next day I was able to use it again, but then that stuff froze on the engine. So I took the propane torch, which, by the way, I found the propane torch, and heated it up and melted it all. But that was funny too, because the propane, when I first tried that, was out here, and it was so cold that it wasn't pushing enough gas out to really get the torch going proper. So I had to take the propane fuel in the house as well to warm up. And then later that day, I was able to come out. I melted all the stuff, and it kind of dripped off. But then, the degreaser, it didn't really do its job. So you want to record the cleaning process? Yes, I am going to. So no, somebody's honking. Somebody I know? Nope, nobody I know. Must be a neighbor. I am videoing this along with the live stream, and I'm going to put out a full-length video on tearing this thing apart. It could be very long, I don't know, or it could be short. Depends on how much of the footage is usable. But I will do some of the cleaning in that video. I probably won't live stream while I'm cleaning because it really is monotonous. And in the video, I'll probably just explain it real quick and then do some sort of time lapse of the cleaning, because a lot of this stuff is going to have to sit in degreaser and soak for hours. And then I'll have to pull it out, scrub it. If it needs to soak more, soak more. I do have an ultrasonic cleaner somewhere, unless I left it at the old house, but I don't think I did. That might help speed things up. But the other thing too is a lot of the rusty bits, I'm going to be putting in like a derusting solution. And again, it has to sit there for hours. So it's kind of a monotonous thing. Yeah, I'll definitely explain it in the video, but I probably won't live stream it because it would just be me sitting here and waiting for it to finish up. So, and if you have any other requests for things you want me to record about this engine and stuff, let me know. Or if you have any suggestions for other videos I should do, let me know. And if you have any suggestions on how I can improve my videos or live streams, let me know, because I want to create the best stuff that I can. But I need to know what people like watching and stuff, I guess. I could just make what I like doing, but you know, if there's specific things about this process then that you want to know more about, then let me know. Or anything else, really. Okay. Dude, the Harbor Freight has some cheap ultrasonic cleaners, and that's the one I have. It's pretty small. Like the work area is only about this big, like the tank. So it's only small bits that you can do. You couldn't do like a whole carburetor body. You could do like a whole lawnmower carburetor body, but and it wasn't terribly expensive. It wasn't dirt cheap, but cheaper than spending $300 or $400 on a super fancy one, you know. But yeah. Anyway, we're at 2 hours now, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. Thank you all for watching, every single one of you. Mr. Dill Pickle, Shopcat, Renegade. I don't think Renegade's in here anymore, but he said take care. But anyway, I appreciate you all, and yeah, I'll be live again same time on Sunday. I'm probably going to tear into this a little bit more though between now and then, so probably look a little bit different. But yeah, we'll get into some real meaty stuff, and yeah, cool. See you later.